long since I have produced an episode on my own. And what I want to do is share a few things with you on this show. And what we're going to do is the Sitch Radio podcast is going to become what the iPodcast that was, with a little industry update and what's going on here at the studio, because a lot has changed. For those of you that have seen the studio 2 weeks ago, we are just caddy corner in the same hallway of where we were. We are occupying two smaller offices, but it ends up being more square footage, which is awesome. And we've separated engineering out from the recording booth or room. There's still some work to be done. Equipment and accessories and furniture, decor is coming in pretty much daily, and things are being put into place as it arrives, for the most part. And some projects are half done because I'm waiting on a piece or something else. But for those of you who do not know me, my name is Brian Colburn. I run Sitch Radio here in Irvine, California. And what it is a community podcast studio. You can come in, talk, and walk away, and we'll handle everything else for you. Or you can be as involved with the production of your show as you would like. For example, if you know you need transcriptions, but you're not transcribing, and you just don't want to, then we'll handle that for you. Obviously, it's a pay-to-play platform. We are almost done setting up our self-serve recording studio. So in the booth, you'll be able to rent it and come in and record your show, bring guests in, do what you want, and walk away with your show on your own SD card to go home and edit and publish. In the booth, we have two Shure SM7Bs now. We have a 40-inch screen TV to put your logo up. We have 3 mirrorless cameras if you want video with your show. So a lot of improvements, a lot of upgrades have happened over the last month or so. We were running a meetup group, and we had really good turnouts for most of the meetups. And, the sexy stuff obviously played really well. People showed up in droves for that and really wanted to, learn and partake. For some of the meat and potatoes behind the scenes, the stuff nobody likes doing, which is, ironically, the important part of podcasting. Not a lot of attendance there, but those that showed up, learned, implemented what they did learn, and their shows improved because of it. So I miss you guys. It's been too long since we've done a meetup, and with COVID relaxing, I'm going to start that back up on a reduced scale. So the days of 20 people in the conference room are gone, and we'll probably limit to 6 and 6 only. So the first 6 who sign up, get to come play. I will, really encourage them to not sign up if they don't intend on coming, and save the seats for those that do. And if you sign up and don't show, then I'm probably going to boot you from the meetup, allowing people that say they're coming actually show up, get in the door and partake in the community. With that having been said, I'm excited to show you guys all the new studio when and if you come back by. And in the show notes below are links to the stories I'm getting ready to talk about, which I want to share with you. But number one, I'm sure everyone's really realized funky stuff's going on with their podcast analytics. And one of the big reasons is the IAB is no longer allowing hosting platforms to count podcasts via the Apple Watch. For those of you that are familiar with the iOS ecosystem or the Apple ecosystem, when your phone rings, your tablet rings, your laptop rings, your phone rings, and what was happening is people subscribed to a podcast and it was downloading on multiple devices, counting as multiple downloads instead of one for the one user. So they've identified the watch as being a big problem there. And those downloads will no longer be counted if your hosting platform is IAB certified. If it's not IAB certified, pay attention to your numbers, because there's probably some problems. I know when our platform gained their certification, we had a reduction in downloads across the board, and it sucks, but it's a truer number. You can, gauge your actual audience size with much more confidence now than you could in the past. So pay attention to that. That story is coming out of podnews.net. If you do not subscribe to their newsletter and you're into podcasting or thinking about starting a podcast, I highly encourage you to subscribe to their newsletter. Great stuff all the time. There's also a link for PodJobs. I know a lot of people are looking for work and they're interested or have podcasted before. PodJobs.net. There's some interesting stuff in there from time to time. I take a peek just out of curiosity. I take a peek to see, what information I can gain to help improve my studio as I add people. But PodJobs is there, and there are jobs, full-time jobs in the podcasting world. And I encourage you to look into it if you're interested or thinking about or have experience with audio or production, handling people, things of that nature, all kinds of jobs. So take a look at that. That link too is in the show notes. The next thing I want to talk about is something I'm really excited about, is the Podcast Academy. And I encouraged my hosts to join, and some of them did. And with podcasting growing in popularity, there seems to be a lot of competitiveness to legitimize. I hate to use that word because it's been a legitimate medium for so long. But it's just being recognized for some reason now. You can't watch a sitcom or a movie or something without hearing podcast in it. But the Podcast Academy, they're doing things a little different. They're styling it after the Academy Awards for movies, which is kind of cool. And there's going to be an awards component of it, but there's also an educational component of it. But the biggest thing I like about it is it's starting to build and really grow a community. They have mentorship programs, and I think those that are serious about podcasting should join. Now, they were doing a special. You could get in at half price for your first year, but it is $100 right now. And there's a lot of good stuff going on. I've attended a few of the webinars they've put on, and they've been great. And I've got nothing bad to say. There's some great leadership in place. They have a board of governors. Companies cannot be members. Companies can sponsor, but have no say, which is brilliant. We don't want this to turn into the, insert company name here awards, like there are already out there. So I encourage you to take a peek at it. And I even built out a page on sitchradio.com for members, or hosts, I should say, of shows on Sitch that did become members, because I want to celebrate that. I think that this is a good foothold into taking podcasting to the next level and actually making it a much more organized medium. Because there's a lot of weirdness within podcasting, and what some people think is a fair price, others don't. And I think this is going to help kind of standardize and allow the cream to rise to the top. So in addition to the link to sitchradio.com celebrating our members, our hosts who have become members, there's also a link to the Podcast Academy as well. You can check it out, see if it's for you. I encourage each and every one of you to join. The next thing we are super excited about is the fact that Sitch Radio is now producing a podcast entitled Call to Service, which is presented by 511. For those of you who don't know what 511 is, it is a company that builds and sells clothing and nylon style tactical bags and vests to law enforcement, security, several different jobs or occupations. But they are a locally based Irvine company as well. And I shouldn't say Irvine company, a company in Irvine, because the Irvine company is a company and they're not it. So it's awesome to be working with these great people who are highlighting people's call to service. What led them to a life of service? whether it be law enforcement, military. They're going to get into several other genres as well. Will Ayers is the host and phenomenal voice. I love listening to Will speak, and we're happy to be part of that and help them get their show out to the masses. So if you have not heard of Call to Service and you think that might be your cup of tea, check it out. It is available in all your favorite podcast players. And yeah, I enjoy some of the stories. I believe today's episode was Mike Pannone, who was a Marine Recon, served with special operations teams, and his wealth of knowledge he's gained over a few decades. So great episode there. Events coming up. The podcast movement is virtual this year. I unfortunately will not be able to attend, but there was a link to that because I wanted to highlight that as well. So to wrap up, again, my name is Brian Colburn. I run Sitch Radio here in Irvine, California. We're right by the hangars, across the street from Tustin. We are here to help you tell your story. So if you're looking for a podcast studio to do a little bit or all of your show, give us a call. Take a look at us. You can go to our website. That link is in the show notes, and take a look at what we have to offer. And if you feel we might be a good fit to help you produce your show, let us know. We are more than happy to sit and talk with you. And, it all starts with discovery. We want to make sure you're a good fit for us. We're a good fit for you. Expectations are all in line before we say yes. We're just not that studio to say yes to everything. We want to make sure people are committed to putting out great content and are committed to do so. So again, Brian Colburn, Sitch Radio in Irvine, California. Until next time, we will talk soon. And it's weird having to do all this by myself. We do a show called Drive Time OC, and I have an engineer in the booth, but not today. Till next time.